My library sucks. They never have the first book in a series. They never have the older books I would be interested in. And I love to complain about the whole thing. Everyone, it's Emily. If you are not new to my channel, you've probably heard me mention over and over again how I think my library sucks. And I'm saying that as someone that thinks libraries are awesome. But I have just had that little frustration. Actually, I mentioned on my beauty channel how there's this expression from where I'm from, which is avoir une petite crotte sur le cœur, which basically translates to having a little poo on your heart, which French Canadian can be weird like that. Basically, it means having something that you're like resentful from. You just need to get it out. It's just annoying you. And it's how I've been feeling about the whole situation, because as much as I hate my library, I feel like I'm sending the wrong message by saying that over and over again on this channel, because I think libraries are awesome and I totally recommend you check yours out and that you use it, because you get books for free. I personally have to pay a little fee, but it's like nothing. Then you have like a bajillion books for free, so it's awesome. And I feel like on BookTube there's this pressure to have a bajillion hardback, perfect condition, brand new books, and it's just not what I'm about. Most of my books were purchased used, mostly from my library, so it's not all bad. They have fantastic sales. 3 books for $1, or like nonfiction and classic are $1. So it's amazing, and it's kind of why I end up hoarding books. So as much as I complain about it, I use it all the time. So far this year, I finished 37 books and 12 of them were from my library. Most of them are audiobooks, because audiobooks can get very expensive if you use like Audible or something like that. So using a library is fantastic for that. Plus the waiting list is usually shorter. Basically, I just wish my library would fix a few little things, but I still wanted to promote libraries. So let me know if you have an idea for like a name for this type of series, because I'm going to start doing that, kind of giving you a library waiting list TBR, like books that I'm waiting for, and you're going to see in a second why I'm complaining. So on my phone I have Libby and Overdrive, which you should definitely use if you can connect to your library, and I'm going to give you some of the books that are on my waiting list TBR, kind of giving you that information of what books I should be reading in the next, I don't know, 6 months. The first book I want to talk about is The Immortalist by Chloe Benjamin. That book I really wanted to read because of the premise. You're following a family, 4 different siblings that go and see a voyant, like they have a seance with like someone telling them the future, basically giving them, each of them, the date when they will die. So it's affecting their lives, and then you just see them through it. And I just thought the premise was interesting. It's a little bit out of my comfort zone, and you're gonna notice a pattern. Usually the books that I get from my library are either out of my comfort zone, literary fiction, or like a bunch of nonfiction, and then the newest YA when I can get them, because sometimes I'm just not fully ready to commit to buying the book. So that book is definitely a little bit out of my comfort zone, but still not that far. I added my name to the waiting list a month ago, and they're telling me that in approximately 21 weeks, my eye is twitching right now. That's actually hilarious. I should be able to read it. Let's get excited. I swear my eye is switching right now and I can't stop laughing. Like, can you see this? Wow, it's a sign. But Libby's telling me that my library has recently acquired 2 additional copies. So thank you, library. I'm 72 in line and there are 7 copies, so let me start with the ones that I will get pretty soon. That way it's a little bit more useful, like a current TBR. The first one, people are going to be very excited about it. It is Strange Dreamer by LAINI Taylor, which is a YA fantasy. Although from some of the reviews that I've been seeing lately, it seems like it's more of a romance, but we shall see, because this one, the waiting list is telling me that it should be available soon. So I'm probably next in line, so as soon as I finish The Diviners, I will be listening to this one as an audiobook. Once again, audiobooks are usually quicker, so probably in May I will be listening to that. Another ebook that I'm hoping to read is Thunderhead by Neil Schusterman. It's the second book in the Sight series. I read Sight last year. It's a YA sci-fi kind of utopia in a world where people don't die anymore. So basically there's no more death, there's no more sickness and anything. So they have a group of people, the site, that have to kill people either randomly or in whatever order that they think is appropriate. Neil Schusterman and me have that thing where he probably doesn't know. I like his ideas, but I feel like whenever I end up reading a book, I like the premise better than the book per se. But I've heard that the second book is even better than the first one, so I'm still like hoping I will end up liking it. I added my name to the waiting list beginning of the month, and they're telling me 3 weeks, so probably next month. The next one I should have kind of soon is The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. That one is a YA fantasy. Once again, you can see a lot of YA because I'm not always ready to fully commit to the hype. But this one I've seen so many people that have similar tastes as me that ended up really liking it. So I'm hoping I'm gonna like it too. And they're telling me approximately 6 weeks. So we shall see when I actually end up reading it. Now let's go to some of the ones that added my name more recently slash that are pretty much newer books. A lot of them are like literary fiction and things like that that have been like acclaimed lately. The first one is Sing Unbury Sing by JESMYN Ward, and this one they're telling me 21 weeks. So you know, before the end of the year I should read it. This one is it a contemporary? I know it's an American family, the kids are mixed race, and it's pretty much all I know. But it's a book that has been recently published and I've seen a lot of people's lists of like best of blah blah blah, so I'm hoping to end up liking it too. Another one that is a little out of my comfort zone is Pachinko by Min-Jin Lee. This one is a National Book Award finalist, so it's probably why I've seen it everywhere. This one is a historical fiction, I believe, and you're following a Korean family and the daughter gets pregnant and they basically have to go to Japan to, you know, shame, guilt and everything. And this one they're telling me at least 6 months. Are you starting to understand why I complain about my library? Really, I shouldn't complain because it's a free book, but I mean, do you get it? I usually end up dealing with the whole thing by like getting books that are available right now to balance things out, having to wait, but it's just frustrating because we can only put our name on like 20 different books at a time to like be on old. So it gets a little frustrating when you have to wait 6 months because you can't put your name on other books because you're still waiting. Another book that I've been excited to read, and I should be able to read it this fall because it's a thriller book, which is usually when I end up reading all my thriller, mystery, horror. And it is Let Me Lie by Claire McIntosh. Last year I read I See You and I'll Let You Go by the same author. If you have to read only one, I would go with I'll Let You Go. I think it's much better than I See You. So I've been wanting to read, this is her newest book. I believe it was published in 2018. And they're telling me that I should have it, I have to wait at least 6 months. So like I said, maybe I'll have it for the fall. Maybe. I'll be able to let you know if I think it's worth the read or not. Hopefully in time. Another one that is a thriller is The Flight Attendant by Chris Bojalian. This one they're telling me at least 25 weeks. I don't know too much about this. I prefer not going into books knowing too much, especially thrillers. So this one is another one that I've seen on a lot of lists of like best new thriller. So hopefully I'll be able to let you know before the fall. The next one is The Female Persuasion by Meg Wolitzer. And this one I should wait 13 weeks, so not too bad. This one, I know it's the fiction work about feminism and that it has been signed to become a movie, and I know Nicole Kidman is interested. So basically I wanted to read the book before watching the movie if it ever happens. But so far there's only a few reviews on it. I feel like they're a little bit all over the place, so I'm curious to see how I'm going to personally feel about it. Next one is CIRCE. Do you say Circe in English? I think that's how you say it. By Madeline Miller. This is historical fiction. Actually, I never finished The Song of Achilles by her. And I say that as someone that, for absolutely no reason, put it down and never picked it up. And my excuse is that it's currently behind this chair. It was a really great historical fiction. I love the writing, and I never understood. It's just one of those books. I put it down, need to finish it. But this one is another one of those historical fiction, this one being by Circe. Is that how you say that? Please confirm it, it's gonna bug me. And this one, they're telling me I will have to wait 7 weeks. Not too bad. I think, oh, see, they just said your library has acquired 2 additional copies since you placed this hold. Thank you, library. You got me sometimes. Another book that is out of my comfort zone that I've been like hesitating and I didn't want to commit to purchasing it is The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. A lot of people were comparing it to Uprooted and like something circus, The Night Circus. And both of those books I didn't end up loving as much as the hype, so I thought I would read this one from my library. This one I'm waiting for the audiobook. They're telling me 9 weeks. It's been really, really popular. I believe it is inspired by Russian fairy tales, folklore. I'm a little scared. That's kind of why I decided to get the audiobook. So I think that's gonna be it for this TBR. There are a few more, but to be honest, those are the main ones that I'm excited about. One of my tips, by the way, if you also use Libby and Overdrive, is to check whenever your library has some of those ebook express. You can't put a hold on it, you can't put your name on a waiting list, but when it's available, you can get it for 7 days, so ends the express, so usually it takes a lot less time to get your hands on it, so you can get your hands on newer books, but only whenever they get them, but that's a different story. Is anyone else a little annoyed with their library? Because I feel like what I would like to use my library for and what I end up using it for are two different things. Like the whole like not having the first book in a series really annoys me. And I understand that it's usually because the whole publishers, they don't want to give the library access to the ebook forever. So they put like a limit of times that it can be borrowed before they have to repurchase it. The only thing is my library doesn't freaking repurchase them forever. So for example, the Ten of French series, what is it, Dubliners or something like that? They don't have the first book, but they have book 2, 3, 4, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I wanted to like not commit to the series before reading the first book. Like that's what I'm using my library for. Or like sometimes like older books that if you want to read it, you have to like find, and they're usually much more expensive because they are so rare. At the end of the day, I still think libraries are awesome. Definitely still recommend you use yours. Don't forget to let me know in the comment section if you have an idea for a name that is a lot less passive aggressive than me saying that my library sucks. Like Library Waiting List TBR. I think that's probably going to be it. Out of curiosity, please let me know in the comment section how many of the books that you read a year are from your library. Like what percentage? I didn't calculate it for last year, but so far this year it's like what? I said 12 out of 37. That's what, like 31, 32%, something like that. So I think it's not too bad. Do you get mostly physical ebooks, audiobooks? Because me, like I said, audiobooks, ebooks are definitely the main ones. I'm just curious to talk about libraries and books, so let's discuss. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe and not miss any future videos. I will be putting on the screen the videos that I recommend you check out, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.